Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. We have a special guest here today, which is Justin Popovic from Tools for Motivation. I can't believe I stumbled over that. I've known him for years.
It's kind of difficult to say sometimes.
It's been about, 10 years or so, at least 10, 11 years.
Yep, I think so.
And I've told people before, you're like one of the few people whose content I recommend. And it's a great mix with us because you really specialize on the personal development, self-improvement stuff. And that's become more and more popular. I mean, even in the last year, online courses obviously are huge, have blown up more than ever. But the personal development, self-improvement stuff in particular, because people have been going through a rough time. So Sarah's with me as well. Most of the people here will know Sarah, and I know people are coming on, so I'll keep going back and forth and remind you of what we have going on. But Justin put together a very special package for us that is called Exploring Your Passions, or it's called, I'm looking at the screen, A Love Affair with Life. It's a little...
it's a long-winded title.
Yeah, it's a little misleading in some ways because I hear your love affair and I think, is this about relationships? No, and one of the reasons I picked this one as the promo to do was that a course we did last year called Know Your Why was one of the most popular ones. Mm-hmm. And this one is a great fit with that one, and it's much bigger. So I'm hoping today that we only have a limited amount of time, but I'm hoping that we can look at some of the stuff in there. I know there's a ton, and you in particular have some things that we don't do, like some audio and video. So I'd love to look at different ways to use that, ways to repurpose it, and what people can do with all this great content. And if you can give us a peek at it too.
Yeah, definitely. So thanks for that introduction, and thanks for those of you that are tuning in. So at Tools for Motivation, like Sharyn was saying, our big focus is personal development and self-help, sort of the soft skills that go really well with business development kind of stuff. The title, A Love Affair with Life, Exploring Your Passions. It is kind of long-winded. We like to get creative with it, but the beauty of white label or rebrandable content is you can change that title. I love that. I'm so glad you picked that topic, Sharyn, because passion is really what drives a lot of success, but not just in business, in any area of your life. So I was just doing a workout in the garage with my son. I'm super passionate about working out. Nobody has to tell me to go and do that. Like, I'm interested in it. I'm Googling and YouTubing different ideas, and I go out and try them. There's nobody that has to tap me on the shoulder and say, go do it, because it's just a general passion. It makes me want to do it. I'm naturally motivated for it. So that was the idea with this product, is let's help people tap into that sort of natural instinct that we have to really just do the things that draw us to be done. Like, nobody has to tell us to do them because they just feel right. So what this product will allow your readers to do is explore the different areas of their life they may be passionate in. Business, obviously, if you can find areas of your business you're passionate in, if you can make a business out of your passion, that's great. I sell rebrandable content. I certainly didn't wake up one day and go, that's my passion, but I'm passionate about pieces of my business. So you can always find passions in different things that you're doing. And like Sharyn said, our content is quite unique compared to a lot of private label rights, rebrandable content, different, however you want to call it, than a lot of the people on the market. One of the big things we do is audio and video based content. And I can't believe this is happening, but the grass cutting guy just showed up. So let's hope that doesn't interrupt. Out of all the times of the day, he shows up on the live stream.
Always
it has to happen that way, right?
Again, Sharyn.
Yeah, that always happens when I was in New Jersey. Luckily here, not. Now, here it's the wind blowing off the mountains.
Yeah, because I'm facing outwards to the front yard, and literally as I'm saying that, he's driving by and I'm going, oh my God. Anyway, I think we should be good. So audio and video content is huge. As you know, we're doing a live stream right now. I mean, this stuff works. People watch this, they connect better with the vendor if you're able to get on video. And so what we try to do with our content is provide done for you video so that you, as the end publisher of that stuff, can make just a few tweaks, but still deliver multimedia type of content. Text is never going to go away. Ebooks, courses, like downloadables that people read will never go away, but enhancing it, adding to it, having audio. Like I do probably more of my learning through audiobooks than I do through reading, just because I'm busy doing a workout, like I said, I'll listen to something instead of reading it. So having those options, I think, is huge. So we wanted to build that into our products. With this one in particular, I think it's a great topic to have audio and video because, again, it's nice to listen to someone talk about passions as much as it is to read it. If you're listening to that while you're busy doing something, you can feel just as inspired as if you were reading it. So should I do a little demo, or what do you think's best here? Yeah? Okay, let's do that. So we didn't test this. We're doing this on the fly. Let's share my screen. And I'm going to start, Sharyn, by pulling up the sales page here. Is that showing up yet or not?
I don't see your screen. I wonder if I have to remove mine first.
All right.
In order to do that. Let me remove mine.
Okay. Now I'm going to try this again.
Okay.
Let me know if you can see it.
I should probably take this banner off too. That's just the URL for anyone who's coming in or watching the replay on this. This is the URL for this page. So it's contentsparks.com/explore-passions.
Okay, now,
and I'll just
quick
hide
check
that.
here, Sharyn and Sarah, am I on the sales page?
Yes.
You see it? Excellent. Okay, because I went over and it started doing one of those crazy, like, shooting me into some other stratosphere thing. Okay, so before because I have the actual files and I like to show those as well, but I like to just walk through the high level first. So if you're looking at this deal, you'll find all of this here. This is literally the page we built for Sharyn. I don't want to go through the whole sales page, but I just wanted to show at a high level here the key sections. So these black bars, or the sort of gray full width bars here, will highlight the key pieces of the product. And we like to break them down in terms of the category of their usage. So for example, premium content, this is designed for you to monetize in some way, shape, or form. So you could literally take the items in this folder and sell them as is, or you could bundle them with stuff that you're already doing and enhance maybe some of your existing courses. And now you're adding a passion or a module on passions. If you have a larger course, let's say on life skills, one of the new modules will be passions, right? You could easily pull this content out of this folder, and that becomes a monetizable asset for you. But there's lots of other ways you could do it as well. We have customers that use, this is a pretty common model actually, they build membership sites, and every month they're charging a recurring fee to enter that membership site and download stuff. If you want to do some kind of motivational style membership, this content could be, your monthly update or your weekly update, or however you're doing that. So inside of this folder, this premium folder, you'll find a number of assets. I'm going to walk through those in a second. Mm-hmm. Quite a bit of stuff here. It's all pre-written, done for you in terms of design, but fully editable as well. So if there's anything you don't like, just like Sharyn's work, you pull that out, you rewrite it, or you swap it out for material you prefer to have. I always recommend people at least start with our work, read it, maybe allow that to spark up some creative ideas of your own. Like maybe you're reading a chapter here on, if I look at the ebook here, talks about different things that you could be passionate about. Maybe the world of learning is something that you're passionate about, and you can quickly riff on that. You could write a half page on your passion for learning, and that becomes custom content inside of this ebook. Okay, and so there's lots of stuff in here. I'm not going to go through it all, but the second section is lead generation content, pretty self-explanatory, help you build your list. So assets within here to help you do that. Then the next section down is branding content. This is different than the first two. The first two are kind of material that's hidden behind the scenes to help you build your list, to help people enter your funnels. Branding content is public facing. So you need content for your blogs, or you want to put something up on social media to just capture some attention and have people click through to your website and maybe take some action. The material inside of this folder will help you do that. Publish it anywhere you see fit. So there's articles and a bunch of stuff in there. And then there's also a folder here with social content. This is very image rich in nature. So posters with tips on them that you can edit. An infographic. These are great for Pinterest. There's different graphics here with tips on them that fit well into Instagram and Pinterest. Pre-written tweets and Facebook posts. And then finally, this is the key piece to me, because this is what will differentiate our material from a lot of other vendors out there. And this is our enhanced media folder. So all the stuff we've been talking about so far around this topic of passions, we've also produced video and audio, so multimedia style formats, so that you can just have that much more variety with your content delivery. So the whole ebook in that premium folder has been translated into a video. So this is really good if you're doing course delivery or, again, membership sites. you can teach people what's in that ebook, but in the format of a video. So you come here and watch the sample if you like. We provide the slides that were used to build that video, the audio as well. So I'm not going to go
professional. It's all professionally done. It's not you doing it. It's a professional voice person or professional, whatever you call them.
Yeah, exactly. It's we have basically a voiceover specialist that narrates the content and puts it together with audio, slides, and then they're narrating that text. So the cool part about it is the end video that you're getting is really just a blending of all of these text assets, right? It's an ebook, 6,000-7,000 words, I forget the exact length, being narrated, slides that were built for visual effect. And then those two are blended together to export as an MP4, which is your video. So if you ever wanted to redo any of this stuff, it's all there. The building blocks are there. So some people just like to use our video out of box. Other people want it in their voice. It really depends on how you go to market with your brand. I often encourage people to be flexible with this. Just because it's not your voice on an audio track, doing an audiobook, doing a video file, doesn't mean you can't publish this under your personal brand. You could simply add a 1 or 2 minute intro saying, today we're going to be talking about passions. In the following video segment, we're going to go through why it's important to explore your passions, how passions can unlock blah, 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 whatever we go through in this book. And that 1 or 2 minute intro by you as the personal branding specialist is just enough. And then you can just say, okay, now let's take it away, or let's have a listen to passions, or however you introduce it. And then it's just a narrator. One of the latest books I listened to on audiobook was not narrated by the author. It was just some random person. I didn't know whose voice it was, but I got just as much value out of that book as if the author were to narrate it himself or herself. And in some cases, being a good author doesn't mean you're good at voicing things. So having that cross or that variety is fine, in my opinion. So keep that in mind. So Sharyn and Sarah, does this also appear now when I flip?
Sarah's got her hand up.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can. I'm going to go back so I can see you. So let me stop sharing. Okay. There we go.
I've not used your audio content, although I have used your infographics, and they are phenomenal on Pinterest. They take a little bit of editing. You add your logo, you change the colors, you can keep the words, and then you whack them out on Pinterest. One of your very, very early one generated me 192,000 pins.
Nice. That's amazing.
And it was one of your very, 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 you just started doing them. I've never been able to replicate that amount since, but I do find I get several hundred when I use your infographics. So If you're new to Pinterest, it's really easy to customize Justin's infographics, add your logo and pop them up, and you do get real good traction with it because they're really into their personal development over there. But my question was around the audio content. I'm British, as you can tell, and lots of people struggle with my really posh, upper class, sound like the Queen, stop laughing, Sharyn accent. Do you find you get lots of people who have English as a second language like to use the audio content for their audiences?
Absolutely. There? Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, a lot of digital content, the main market right now, at least from what I've seen, is English as a first language speaking buyers. So the more content you can have that is in line with that, the better. Although I sometimes do find it intriguing when there is an accent or somebody that does struggle. I'm even more impressed. It's like, wow, it's not even their main language and they're still producing motivational content. That's cool. I want to listen to this person. But for people that are maybe struggling with that, a bigger one would be people that are self-conscious about if you've never done it and you record an audiobook, the first time you hear your voice, it can be horrifying for people. I'm used to it now, but I remember years ago just starting, because I started off as a speaker and I would practice my speeches on audio and I hated listening to it back. So building an online business is tough enough. There's, as you both know, there's millions of steps. So if putting that media together, like a video or an audio, is yet another thing that's holding you back from getting the results you want, then yeah, use someone's PLR content and just introduce it as, hey, this has been narrated by someone else. That's all you'd have to say. No one's really going to care. So that's a great point, Sarah. Struggling with the accent, struggling with it not being your main language, variety, all of that is a great way to use it. And a little bonus thing there. We have, I can share this out after. I want to go poking around on my site right now, but I produced a few years ago a free training called How to Build Custom Audiobooks using PLR content or private label content. And this particular example was shorter article narrations. So the MP3s are no more than maybe 2 or 3 minutes each. And people are wondering, like, how do I use that? First of all, it's not in my voice. How do I share that? Well, you can actually create long podcasts or audiobooks by stitching together PLR audio. And you kind of think of yourself as like a radio DJ. Like you're running an episode of a show, you come on the mic, you talk for a little bit, you introduce the topic, and then you say, now we're going to investigate X. And then that X topic is a PLR 2 or 3 or 4 minute audio file. And then you come back on and you maybe discuss it a little bit. Maybe you have a partner that does the podcast with you. What do you think of that? That we just heard 3 minutes on tips to be more confident when speaking on live streams. What do you do in those scenarios, right? So you can actually build your own show where PLR or private label audio is doing like 80% of the heavy lifting.
Yep.
And that's where people struggle is like, well, I want to start a podcast, but I have no idea what my first 20 shows are going to be. Well, now you can use this content and it's up and running. So yeah, great question. Great question.
And I
Sharyn,
assume you could use, you could just use something like Audacity if you wanted to stitch things in. You can do breaks, record your voice a little, and that one's pretty easy to use. It's just a little bit more technical stuff to do, but you can add your intro, your outro, and do a split and say at any natural pause point, say, okay, now we're going to go on to the next one. Yeah.
Yeah. Audacity is, and I think it's free.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I'm pretty sure Audacity is free as well. I use GarageBand. I'm on a Mac, and that comes with most Macs. So either or, you can usually get this type of work done for free. So it's not usually a tool or tech issue. It's a matter of just deciding to try it out. And that's, it's just one of those things where I think a lot of people, they hear that, it's rebrandable content in audio format, but it's not my voice. I can't use this. But it sometimes just being a bit creative, actually, you can use it. And I encourage people to just try it before they shut down the idea, because if you can do something like we just talked about and make good use of that, suddenly you're going to be able to pump out like way more audio content than you would be able to if you were narrating everything you write. Let's say you've written 12 blog posts this year. Now you want to narrate those into audio to have some shareable audio content for like a platform like SoundCloud. Well, it's going to take you a while to narrate that into audio. For sure, you're going to mess up your words. You're going to have to stitch all those edits together and come up with what's maybe a 3 or 4 minute audio. Or you could just introduce the topic for 2 seconds and have the PLR do it. And it's the same effect. You can still have a unique piece of audio content living on a website that can promote your brand. So, yeah. And
as you said before, some people, we know blended learning is so important, and people have different learning styles and want to learn in different, if they're working out or prefer to watch versus read, your eyes are tired and you don't want to actually watch something. It's great to have those different formats, and you've done it already. So all somebody has to do is introduce it.
Yeah. When I really want to learn something at a deeper level, I do both. So I'll read and listen at the same time. So I'll listen to the audiobook while I'm reading, and I find that for me, that works well. So anyway, the more choices, the better. So let me go back to the share here.
Okay.
And I will share the actual, learning this StreamYard tech here. Come back to me.
Well, you only have one screen, presumably.
Yeah, it's just not it's not sharing right now, is it?
No.
Do you have to enable? Oh, there. It just took a sec for it to okay, I think I'm good to go here now.
Yep, you just got to get the right app. Yep, we can see it.
Okay, so this is that sales page we just walked through. This is literally what the product looks like behind the scenes if you were to unzip all of that. So at the root level, pretty basic: premium, lead gen, branding, social, and media or multimedia. Inside of each one of these is where it starts getting pretty busy, because we've built a lot of assets for you to do each of these main initiatives. So as an example, the ebook, It comes with its own set of e-covers, those 3D graphics, fully editable. So I usually recommend people change or at least edit that a little bit, because there are other people who own a license to this, and you want to make your branding look a bit unique. And then the main thing I always recommend people do is pop open the ebook. So we've provided it in both Word doc and Pages format, fully editable. So Word doc on the PC, Pages on the Mac. You could easily open it in Google Docs too, the doc version. And then I always recommend just open it up. I'm just doing a PDF preview here and read through it. Just see how this content resonates with you, right? So this is it's really going slowly here, probably because I'm sharing. But anyway, I'm going to not preview this because it's acting very funny. Anyway, read the ebook, go through it as a customer would. People in your audience. How do the certain chapters resonate with you? Does it communicate a message that's in line with the type of coaching or advice that you give in your business as an expert in whatever world you are? What needs to change? What needs to be edited to sound more like you? Where can you inject some anecdotes or stories from your own life where you discovered your passion and unlocked some inspiration or motivation for your life? Maybe it got you to a new level of results in your business or a hobby that you were working on, or relationships, whatever. So that's the best thing to do, is because now this becomes the foundation for what's going to be either a product or a course, some kind of membership site that you're going to build using this content. And then from there, you would just keep going through the package. The audiobook is broken into multiple pieces here. So it's just several chapters producing an audiobook. We give you a little CD case there if you want to do any selling. What I've seen people do quite well is they'll sell the ebook, and we have an enhanced ebook here as well. I'll quickly mention that.
I like the enhanced one. It's really
it's a
nicely
visual.
laid out.
I'll try once more. When I was doing the preview here, it wasn't working well with StreamYard, but so we've just, instead of it being plain text, it's just been kind of visually enhanced and has some colors in the headers and footers and all of that. So again, fully editable. We pull all of the images from royalty-free, commercially available image sites like Unsplash, and we give you the source images there as well in case you want to provide credit, which is kind of a good thing to do. So you might want to do something as simple as in your shopping cart, you create a new product for sale, and it's an ebook. Love Affair with Life, Explore Your Passions, whatever you call it. People add that to cart. Then they can either check out and buy it, or you could do a little bump offer saying, for another $7, would you like to add the audio version of this on, right? And that's where that audiobook can come in handy. I also recommend bundling in the workbook. This is something, as a Context Sparks follower, you'd be quite familiar with. Workbooks, exercises, guidelines for students to not just read and intellectually understand the concepts, but to actually try stuff out so they can genuinely maybe experience more passion in their life. So this is an entire workbook dedicated to exercises and interactions you can have. This is really popular feature for people in our audience that do coaching, because it gives you a handout that you could walk through in a coaching session, right? So there's like literally things that your clients would have to fill in, and you can review the answers together in a coaching session. So the workbook alone, I think, is a very powerful piece of content in all of this as well. So all of that can be used piecemeal or bundled together as premium content that you monetize in some way. So that's, I would say that's the main piece of this content. The lead gen is also pretty interesting. We've got a little mini report. What are my passions? Just kind of teaser on that topic. Get people thinking about the importance of passions, what they may be passionate about. Maybe they haven't consciously recognized all of their passions. Just going through that exercise can be quite inspiring for people. So you give that away for free, maybe in exchange for joining your list. Maybe you bundle it together with some other stuff to build a larger lead magnet. Again, totally get creative with all this. That lead gen report can then integrate with what we call an AR autoresponder series. I'm pretty sure you do these as well, Sharyn. Pre-written emails that you can copy and paste into your autoresponder. So we do 10 of them. In this case, we go through 10 traits of people who are passionate, and we provide the subject line and then just a little snippet of email that you can use to get people interested and thinking about this topic again, and then have some kind of call to action in that email, sending them back to the sales page for the ebook if you're selling it that way. Or let's say earlier I talked about creating a larger course where passions is one module, maybe in an 8-module course. Well, again, you could still use this email promoting that module of the course. Sometimes when you're selling something, you're going to have to promote it from different angles and different spins to appeal to different parts of your audience. So these emails could help with that as well.
Yeah.
There's also a trainer slide deck here. I'll pause here for a second, Sharyn, because I don't want to go through the whole thing and overdo it here. Do you want me to just skip to the media? Because there's a lot here.
Yeah, I'd really like to, because that part is different.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking, there are so many, you were talking about putting this in as one module and something bigger. And I was just thinking, there are so many ways that people can combine these. Like, this can be something that is either a bonus or an intro to a course on how to start your business, because people need to figure out what they're passionate about before they go into starting your business.
Yes.
And, or that can be one module in there. And the other thing was, we have something we're doing now still on boot camps. So I could see this as being like an intro thing where you do it as a boot camp to really figure out your passion, and then add on other things, which will be follow-up training and stuff. Because this is definitely stuff you could do, like have a day that's just focused on figuring out what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And then move on. It's like that would be the breakthrough, having a day that's totally breakthrough on figuring that out. And that's definitely something that now more than ever is so important. And the order bump thing too. I know people get stuck on the technology side of all of that. And I know, most of these platforms now have that ability, like Teachable now has that, where you can buy a course, have it all set up so that people buy a course of some sort, and then have an order bump on the checkout page where you can say, okay, well, do you want the audio version of that? And then you bundle that right in. It would just be like a separate audio course or a separate version of it. Yeah. So I don't want people to get hung up on the technology side of all these things.
Yeah. Most platforms and shopping carts can allow you to do it. We use, actually both of our businesses use WooCommerce. So there's free plugins that allow you to do little redirects before people check out. Some systems have the upsell where you make the purchase and then you redirect the buyer back to an upsell. I don't like those as much, because then the customer has to get their credit card out in theory twice. So yeah, it depends on the model, but yeah, there's always a way to pull it off.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's take a look in this media folder here. So there's a lot. And I think just in the interest of time here, let's just focus on the ebook video, which is the largest piece of the puzzle. We could have packaged this a bit different. This was actually packaged differently than we normally do. But let's focus on the fact that this is a video version of the Explore Your Passions ebook, separated into several chapters or modules, just like we did with the audiobook. So it's very similar. The audio is actually the same. The difference now is we've combined the audio with these slides here. Okay, so I can just quickly preview it here. I'm not sure how well this would come over our live stream here.
Explore your passions. Exploring your passions in all areas of life.
Did that come through okay? I don't know if you could hear it, but
yeah, I can sort of hear it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as it goes through, you can see here that he's narrating, and then the slides are just kind of following on at a high level, not word for word, but just kind of the key pieces, what the narrator is speaking about. So that's just a quick 2-minute intro to the topic. The next video is much longer. Some of them are very long. It kind of corresponds to the chapters and sections of the ebook. So there's a natural progression here. And again, we talked about some of the usage models earlier, where I feel some people get too hung up on, oh, it's not my voice, or these aren't my visuals. But you have to look at the other side of it, is a lot of this work's been done for you. To create these kind of MP4s from scratch, if you just have the ebook, requires, first of all, narrating the entire ebook. And I guarantee you're not going to do that in the first try. You probably narrate it and mess up a bunch of times along the way. It could be a full day or more for some people to narrate a 6,000 word ebook into quality audio. Like my grass cutting guy showed up. That happens in the middle of a narrating session. You got to wait. So it's, for those of you out there who've tried this stuff, producing an MP4 like this can actually be a very time consuming and sometimes frustrating experience, because sound's got to be right. Your mic's got to be set up. Everything's just got to go correctly to plan, or you could be, spinning your wheels for hours or days, or sometimes even longer, right? So I try to look at it as that this is a done for me asset. It's a piece of video content front to end, that communicates this message. How can I use it as is? Now, if you do want to make some changes, that's where these slides come into play. So the slide decks, the first one was a quick one here, but you can see if you wanted to voice this over in your own voice so that it is you speaking on the mic, then all you would do is read the ebook, you narrate that and blend it with these pre-done slides. So you're saving time again. So all the building blocks are there. And the same thing goes for the rest of the package. So we do that. If I bump down here further, we have article videos. So the package has 10, we talked about the 5 folders. So the third folder was called branding, all kinds of content that you can put on your blog or social sites or whatever, just freely available for anyone to read. Those 10 articles have been narrated into audio, blended with slides, and produced into videos here as well. Great for sharing on YouTube. In fact, if anybody's watching this now or on the recording, and they would like a little guide that I have about using short video clips like this, but making them unique, I can send that to you. I have a little PDF. In essence, there's 3 methods. I'm going to go through them super quick. First method is you would take a video like this. Okay, I'm going to pop it open just so we have the image of it.
4 ideas to help.
So 4 ideas to help you find your passion when you're not feeling it. So this is a video, rebrandable content. Anybody could have access to this. What I would do is I would grab my phone, turn on the camera, say, hey, Justin Popovic here from Tools for Motivation. Today we're going to talk about passions. I've got a really interesting message for you, 4 quick tips. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Let's have a listen. I export that video from my phone. I import it into some video editing tool on my computer. So for me, I use ScreenFlow. You might use Camtasia. There's free ones out there. I have my personally branded intro. I fade in this video that we're looking at right now, and I export that as an MP4. Or maybe I come back on the video at the end and saying, love to hear your thoughts. What did you think of these 4 ideas? Can you relate to them? You maybe leave an open-ended question like that so people engage with the content, export as an MP4, upload it to your different profiles, YouTube, Facebook, IGTV, wherever it makes the most sense for you. And now you have these cool little personally branded videos that you can just share anywhere. This kind of content, I find, I'm not sure about you, Sharyn, works really well for me on Facebook. The kind of those autoplay videos. If you set the stage nicely with your text copy above it, may not get huge engagement, but the engagement I do get usually converts to either some kind of interaction with a prospect that turns into a customer, or people liking and sharing the post. It goes well for me. So I highly recommend people try this. If you don't want to do this model where you're talking to the camera and you have to get your hair done and all that, then you could just do a slide with your photo and say the same thing, right? Record your voice over the slide and then merge in the content as well. And if you don't want to use your voice at all, then you could just have a slide with an intro of it and your picture, personally branded picture, and then merge in the PLR content. Either one of those 3 methods will give you a customized video to your brand that shares great advice. That's teaser content that will promote the premium content we've been talking about through all of this. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yep, totally. That's
Cool.
definitely what I would do. At the minimum, I would have a little intro with your voice,
Yeah.
which is easy enough to do, with that slide. And if you're using PowerPoint or something else, or a screen recorder and you just have the slide up, or using the webcam, like I would use Snagit, which you could turn your webcam on and just say hi, and then use a video editor. It's just, I use Camtasia. I just plop it in, put the transition in.
Super
it's
simple.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually another thing you could do if you really wanted to do your own voiceover and you didn't want to deal with the slides, if you have something like Camtasia, you can strip out the audio and then record audio just over the video recording. So you watch the video and talk as it's going through the video.
That's a great point.
So,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to worry about that recording.
I think a lot
slides.
of people, we do these bi-weekly strategy sessions with our members at Tools for Motivation. And it's funny, like a lot of these types of things, like that scenario you just described, people will overthink it. And they're like, well, what software I'm going to use and all this. And then they actually get down to trying it. And they're like, oh my gosh, like that was so much easier than So a lot of the time it's just try it out. Just give it a shot. And even if you hit cancel the last second when you're publishing it to YouTube because you don't like it, at least you've done the exercise start to finish. And you realize that usually the tech part of it isn't as hard as you're building it up to be in your head. Like the tools nowadays make it pretty easy to do video editing, audio editing, adding graphics to things like Sarah was saying earlier, quick Pinterest share. I mean, what did you do in that Pinterest graphic? Did you just probably add a branding
I
logo
added
on it or something like that?
Identify and my website. That was
Yeah.
it. I didn't even add the colors. I didn't add a logo. It was, at the time, infographics were very expensive to create. There was no
Yep.
Canva. There was no talks of creating them with PowerPoint or anything, you know. So if you had an infographic, you were like up there. And I had this infographic and I thought, oh, I'm going to have to do something with it. And I managed to use Snagit to edit out the bottom bit and put presented by my website name. And then I shared it. And one of my friends then shared it, repinned it into her community. And her community went nuts for it.
Nice.
And that's when it all went. But for me, it was, oh, I want to be big, you know, and there was me, like, you know, in my home office, and I couldn't afford a graphic designer, and I couldn't afford all of the things that an infographic said, because back then an infographic was a status symbol. You could afford $500, $600 to get one made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was a big thing. And just being able to put that on Pinterest, and the traffic that it's driven back to my site over the years is phenomenal. But if I hadn't have tried it that first time, and it wasn't perfect, I won't pretend that I'd done a bang up job with it, because it was really very much a sort of duct taping it together. But just getting it out there, people liked it. And I think sometimes we overthink things. We think people read every word on the video and they listen to something in complete silence, but they don't. You know, as I sit and listen to an audiobook, my kids are running up and down the stairs, my dog's barking. I've not got 100% attention on my audiobook. As much as I'd want to, it's lucky to get 60% off of me. And it's the same with Facebook. We're scrolling, we're looking for something, and something catches our eye. We might not see the first 10 seconds where somebody's fluffed up. We just might catch the end of it and think, oh, that's nice, and share it anyway. So the perfectionism, I think a lot of it is in our heads rather than anybody else's heads.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, you're speaking of those infographics for Pinterest. Years ago, I think I used one of them as the basis for a blog post. So rather than taking the articles, I just took one infographic. I think it was on time management or time management tips. And that became the centerpiece of a blog post. And then I wrote stuff around it and just elaborated on various parts of it. But since you now give the audio and the video for those articles, you can do the same sort of thing. But I don't think the article has to match the video and audio exactly. And I don't think it should. You should put that in and then elaborate on it there. But people have the video and the audio that they can listen to or watch as well. That has like the main points to it.
Yeah.
So more ideas.
Absolutely.
There's absolutely no shortage of things you can do. Like the live streams, using it for live streams. A lot of our people now use the blog post as the basis for a live stream. Or why not a topic for Clubhouse? Which I haven't used, but Sarah, you use a lot.
Well, not as much as I'd like to. Not enough to justify the expense of the iPhone that Kevin's not watching, so we're all good.
But I thought they were going to do Android now, aren't they? Or not yet?
Only if I'm American, and I'm not American this week.
Okay, soon. Yeah. But if you don't know what to talk about on a Clubhouse room, you can pull from any of the ideas and presumably then talk about your course or your lead magnet or something like that as well. Yeah.
Like that time I partnered with somebody and we did a whole video course literally using your module intros. I don't know if you remember that. Like we didn't even go through the whole, we read like the first paragraph of each module and then riffed off of that, because it was your one on how to overcome business overwhelm. And I was working with another business owner. We've both been in business for over 10 years. Certainly have had our share of overwhelm. So all I needed was a structure to follow. One paragraph was enough to drum up some ideas. And I just talked for 5, 6, 7 minutes, did that for the number of chapters you had in that program. And we were done. Video course built. Like it was great.
Yeah. And you can do that with any of your stuff in there. And I like the way you keep the slides very simple. So that people can elaborate. And you really don't have to change them. Just change some colors, put your logo in. You're ready to go.
Yeah, the simpler the better, I find nowadays, because otherwise people it's too much, and if there's too much, then people don't do anything. If you keep it simple, then step ABC, like my 3 methods to using the video content. Get on your iPhone, or do it on a slide, or just do it with your picture, but just pick one and do it. Either way, you should be able to get that done in 5 minutes. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm not going to keep you any longer, because I know that you need to go, and they have to finish cutting the grass. So
he's having a long water break right now. Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to be watching this in the replay, but I want to make sure we've got the banner down there with the URL. This is the special offer that Justin put together for us that works in so many different ways and has the video and audio and all the different options that we talked about and all the different ideas you can tap into. You can add questions here. You can send questions to me, but it's only for a few more days. And we didn't show the bonus that I didn't even think of that we put together a bonus. I should say Sarah did it, of these 3 scroll stopper videos as well that you'll get as a bonus if you get the Exploring Your Passions big mega course bundle.
If you do take advantage of the deal, also watch your inbox, because there might be a surprise sent to you via email from me and my team.
Ooh. Okay. Now I'm curious.
So, yeah.
All right. So,
and if you did buy it and you didn't get that email, then contact us, because you were supposed to.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So look out for that. Let us know if you get it, and you can send an email to support@contentsparks.com to get your scroll stopper videos. And that's going to be a nice surprise, and the surprise from Justin. And again, if you have other ideas too, I want to hear them. So thanks again, Justin. Thanks, Sarah. All these great ideas. I learned a lot as well. And we'll definitely have to do this again.
Absolutely.
Right?
Thanks.
All right. Take care, everybody.